I wanted to get you into this conversation as well because the Decima engine is a cutting-edge engine. It was used to power Horizon Zero Dawn, one of my favorite games in the last few years. So I wanted to ask you, it is a very powerful engine, and how does that fit into sort of the rich visual detail that we get in a game like Death Stranding? Like, how have you guys been collaborating?
So we have a lot of contact between the studios. So clearly, the engine is the Guerrilla engine that's been upgraded to enable the making of Horizon Zero Dawn. But now we have a very different team with different processes that are super demanding and incredibly detailed, pulling the most out of that engine in a very different way. And we at Guerrilla have been anticipating this trailer because I knew from looking behind the scenes that he was working on something incredibly atmospheric. And I'm really happy to see the world's most beautiful moss and very detailed landscapes and all of that in a very different way coming out of the Decima engine.
I was going to say there's almost a little bit of parallel between the footage that we're seeing with Death Stranding, where we get these gorgeous, huge landscapes, waterfalls, barren deserts, wastelands, and we get a lot of huge landscapes in Horizon as well. And I mean, is that interesting for you to sort of see the engine that your team creates reflected in two different, palettes, two different art styles?
What's so interesting for me is that the teams are, in one way, incredibly similar, as in super detail-oriented and very ambitious and trying to squeeze the most out of everything. And yet, at the other hand side, this game looks so differently. So Horizon is kind of hyper-realistic, it's kind of romanticized, and this is all more photorealistic. So what they're doing with our technology is just incredible.
Yeah. Kojima-san, if I may, may I sit?
Sure, go ahead.
Next question about the trailer, which was an amazing reveal of two other characters that are coming to Death Stranding, played by Lindsay Wagner and Leah Seydoux. What has your experience been like working with these amazing performers, and kind of what was the seed for...
oh, man.
Herman's flinching at the trailer footage right now. Yeah, it's intense. What was the seed of your collaboration with these two amazing, legendary performers in cinema?
レイヤさんもリンテイさんも、大好きな女優さんですし、特にヒデさんはもう僕にとっては特別な存在の方だったんで、まず仕事を、出演を受けてくれるかどうかっていうのが僕の一つの壁です。
So both Leah and Lindsay are actresses that I really like and respect a lot. Especially Lindsay, someone very special to me, and I wanted to work with them. But the first wall that I faced, I wasn't sure if they would even agree to work with me.
で、一緒に仕事ができて本当に光栄ですし、レイヤさんもリンテイさんも素晴らしい方で、すごい、女優さんであると同時に人間的にも素晴らしい方で、聡明でキュートで、一緒に仕事できて非常に嬉しいですし、いい関係で、ゲーム作りができてます。
And it's just a fantastic honor that they agreed to work with me. Both Leia and both Lindsay are fantastic actresses, but more than that, they're fantastic human beings. It's a joy to work with such clever and such charismatic people, and it's just been contributing a lot to the project.
ノーマンもマックスもですけど、非常に、素晴らしい方々ですけど、いい人たちに参加していただいて、一緒にゲームを PS を作っている感じです。
Also, along with them, Norman and Nassel are also fantastic people. So more than them being part of the cast, I feel like we are developing this movie together.
I kind of piggybacking off of that question, Herman. I mean, the Horizon was always also known for amazing performances and sort of a full capture suite of performance, voice, facial animation, movement. Is there parallels between sort of the way the Decima engine enables that performance, that amazing capture, both in Horizon and, now with Kojima-san's Death Stranding?
Well, I'm actually personally really interested to see how far they're going to push, for instance, the cinematic pipeline that we've created, because obviously that's an area that Hideo and his team have been very strong in the past, and the use in their way of our toolchain and our technology, I think is really going to drive forward what we ourselves also can do with it. So that's really interesting. I'm also, if I just may say, I'm very excited that a lot of this is just gameplay, and I see little details in there that I've been wanting to ask. You see Norman, or actually Sam now, kind of balancing when the ground gets muddy. Is that actually, Kojima-san, is that actually gameplay when you see Sam kind of keep his balance?
Yeah, that's 詳しく言いませんけど、ゲームのメカニズムですね。ただ歩いてるだけに見えますけど、プレイすると全然違うゲームになります。
Yeah, I can not go into too much detail, but yeah, it looks like you're just walking, but there's a game mechanic there that is keeping steady from a balance of time.
That shot, by the way, of seeing the figures in the air is unbelievable. I can't. So fantastic.
Herman, I actually wanted to ask you, I think there's another connection here with Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, obviously it's great tech, but it's this narrative element, it's this performance element. I mean, obviously Ashley Birch was highly celebrated for her role as Aloy. And I mean, I feel like there's a growing recognition that titles like this need to have like really big, not necessarily big name folks, but people who are very, very experienced and are true sort of craftsmen in acting. So tell me a little bit about, you know, what attracted you to Ashley Birch and kind of what you see for like the future of digital performance in the game.
So first off, I agree with you that acting is increasingly important, and it has to do with the fact that you can present the acting so much better now in video games than you were able to in the past. I don't think from a Guerrilla perspective we're necessarily after huge names to put on the box. For us it's much more about the talent and the quality. And with Ashley, it was just right off the first meetings, it was clear that she was able to bring this character to life. That curiosity that she has, the value that she brings to the deployment of the narrative. She adds to it. I mean, she makes it her own. She really has become that character for me. And whether she's a big name, she's a huge name. But even if she was a smaller name, that doesn't matter so much for us.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a movie star. It's somebody who has a huge fan base nonetheless, and thanks largely to games.
And well, she's a real gamer too.
Sure.
She actually has a great rapport with the developer. She gets how games are made, and that to us is just as important as, you know, like a past in AAA movies, for instance.
Following that thread a little bit, I have another question for Kojima-san. When you were working with Lindsay, I was curious. I mean, she's an iconic performer. She's an author. She's even taught as a professor. What did she bring to this project that you didn't expect?
予期してなかったというよりも一緒に、ゲームを紡いでる感じがします。当然予定してたものもありますし、彼女が加わって、微調整をしていることも当然、それは他の女優さんも男優さんも一緒ですけども、一緒にリンゼさんとこのデビットをいい方向に導くようなそういうことをやってます。
I'm not so sure about things that I didn't expect, because by having her, what we're doing is creating this game together, creating the plan, and sometimes, yes, there are things that go according to plan, some things that we are adjusting day in and day out because Lindsay's there. This is the same for other cast members where we make adjustments because of what they bring to the game. But yeah, I feel like together we are leading this project in a very specific direction.
リンゼさん最後にトレーラーで出てきましたけど、若いリンゼさんを CG で作ってるんですけど、リンゼさんを 3D スキャンして CG で若くしてます。
So you can see at the end of the trailer, DH Lindsay Walker, the way we did it is we 3D scan her and then digitally we DH her.
で、それを見たノーマンもマッツも俺も若くしてくれって言ってるんで、
Both Norman
影響があるというのはそういうこともあります。
Both Norman and Matt thought, and was like, all right, you have to DH me too. So yeah, I mean, you could say that is also an impact that she has had.
Kojima-san, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about music as well, since we're going through all these art forms here. And you know, music has always been such a huge part of the games that you've created. And what is it about Silent Poet's music that connected with you personally?
ですね、たまたま知り合いの知り合いだったんですよ、サイレントポエツさんが。僕は音楽してるとは知らなかったんですけど、
So just by chance, Silent Voice turned out to be a friend of a friend. So I didn't know that it was that it was Silent Voice.
2月か3月にシングル、アルバムが出たんです。新譜が新しい。
And around February or March, they released a new album.
で、それをいただいて聴いたら、1曲目がこの曲なんですけど、サムが荒野を歩いてる映像が出てきたんです。
And because of this relationship, I was given this album that came out. So I played it, and the first song of that album is the song that you're listening to right now. And the moment I listened to that, I immediately had this image of Sam walking in the middle of nowhere.
なんで、その音楽ありきの今回のトレーラーです。
So you could say that this trailer is there because of the music.
音楽とデシマエンジンがあっての今回のトレー
This
ラー。
trailer is there because of this music and because of the Decim engine. The thing is, so Norman 3D scan, his full body scan was done a while ago.
ノーマンいろんな有名なタトゥーしてるんで、なるべく再現したいということで再現をしてました。
So Norman has different tattoos from famous tattoo artists on his body. So as much as possible, we wanted to recreate them.
で、今年になってからP キャップが何回かあったんですけど、その時にノーマンが新しいレズミをしたんで入れてくれるみたいな。
So this year we had some performance capture sessions with him, and in one of those sessions, Norman came and, hey, I got a new tattoo. Can you put it in my character?
急遽入れたんです。
So yeah, well we got it in last minute.
で、もともとこのシーンはノーマンには手の甲の入れ墨がないシーンで、どっちかというとカット的にはですね、手の甲よりその向こうにある写真に意識がいくようなカットなんです。
So originally, this cut that you see with Norman's tattoo, the idea of this cut was for the photo that is beyond the hand to make a strong impression. Not the tattoo.
後から入れ墨入れたんで、皆さんこちらに目がいくと思います。
But yeah, because we added that tattoo, I know that a lot of people get more focused on the tattoo than the photo itself.
He'll show up with a huge new tattoo the day before Master's Edition.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Since we are here at E3, I thought it might be fun. Were there any particular standouts for either of you at PlayStation's media showcase the other night?
Besides Death Stranding.
Of course, besides Death Stranding.
ラスト of Us 2, yeah.
すごいです。
They'll be happy to hear that. I think that's a favorite pick. Herman, any standout from your front?
Well, clearly, obviously that game, but also Ghost of Tsushima, that world that Sucker Punch is creating. I'm really excited to explore that.
Herman, before we let you go, also, I was curious to know if you could talk to us a little bit about, you were speaking of the collaboration between your teams earlier. Do you feel like you've already, I know it's early in the process, but do you feel like your team, the Destiny team, has learned anything from this collaboration and started to incorporate those lessons into future iterations of the engine?
I mean, there are tons of little learnings when you have a tough customer like Kojima Production. But I think largely when you collaborate with another team, what you experience is technology is an expression of how the team makes games, of their philosophies. And what I mentioned earlier is that even if the teams couldn't be more different hardly, there are so many similarities, and that to me is a great learning, that there's another team almost on the other side of the world that speak a different language and operate in such a different culture that still have a very similar mindset when it comes to making games, and that's really fantastic to see. And obviously we're going to use the engine to replicate Hideo, because I hear that I read online that it might be his last game, so we got to.
Gonna let the translator finish. Oh, it's a good one. Before we let Kojima-san go, I do have to ask. We have a huge audience here, a huge audience watching at home. If you can convey one thing to them in their hopes and their expectations for Death Stranding, what would it be?
新しいゲーム性と新しいゲームのなんでしょうね、やり方にチャレンジしてます。 当然今まで通りのゲームプレイもできますけど、ちょっと新しいチャレンジをしているので、そこをちょっと期待していただければと思います。
Well, I'm trying to create new gaming elements. I'm trying to create a new way to play games. Of course, you will be able to play this game the standard way of playing games, but I'm trying to create something new. So,
で2016年にですね、僕はもう何もなかったんで、事務所もなく、エンジンもなく、ツールもなかった時に、マークさんと一緒に、スタジオツアーをしたんです。
So another thing is that in 2016 I had nothing. I didn't have an office. I didn't have in January 2016. Sorry, I didn't have anything. I didn't have an office. I didn't have an engine. I didn't have a staff around me. And around the time, Mark Sterney took us to a tour.
で、まあいろんなところ回ったんですけど、まあ頭の中しかなかったです。企画は。
I went to different.
目に見るものはほとんどなかったです。
I went to different places, but I barely had anything tangible. It was mostly in my mind.
でもゲリラさんはそんな僕にベシマエンジンの全てが入ったものを僕にくれたんで。
And under those circumstances, Guerrilla just gave us pretty much a whole engine.
もう考えられないです。本当に感謝です。
That's something unthinkable. That's something that I could never express how thankful I am for that.
まあベシマエンジンがなければこれもできませんし。はい。
None of this would be possible without the Decim engine.
で同じその、2016年の1月にノーマンに1回会ってで企画を説明して一緒に参加してくれるって言ったらすぐ OK って言ってくれたんでもうその時もびっくりし何にもなかったのに。
And around the same time in 2016 January, also met with Norman and asked him to be part of the project, and he also, without hesitation, he said, "Yeah." So that.
はい。でこの背景に紐みたいなのが出てますけど、
as you can see in the background, well, not in the scene, but in some scenes of the trailer, you can see some kind of cords, and one of the themes of this Stranding are the ropes.
まあゲリラともノーマンとも出演者たちと、スタッフもみんなそのロープでつながって作ってるというそういう感じがします。本当にありがたいです。
So I want to say that I feel like I'm making the game with this connection with Guerrilla, with Norman, with the team members. The game development is being based on all this connection. I will never let this rope go now.
I love it. I could think of no better way to end that.
That was fantastic. Yeah, gentlemen, thank you so much for both of you coming by. I know it's a busy E3.